The reason why it's important to understand your audience is that it gives you some insight as to how they might think, what they really care about. What are some of the words that they always lean in, they listen. These are words that they happen to use. Have you ever left a pitch feeling like your ideas just didn't land and you were completely deflated? Well, let's talk about how you make the perfect pitch. The first thing you want to do is to make sure you understand who your audience is. Are you pitching to your direct boss? Are you pitching to venture capitalists? Are you pitching to someone to let you do something new within the organization, and that could be your boss or your boss's boss? The reason why it's important to understand your audience is that it gives you some insight as to how they might think, what they really care about. What are some of the words that they always lean in, they listen. These are words that they happen to use. So knowing your audience is really important. Even if you've never met them, you have an opportunity to do your research on the organization that you are pitching to. Sometimes to do research on the person that you are talking to. Sometimes you may not know who's going to be in the room, but you know that they are an institutional investor or a high net worth investor, or they happen to be a founder, or they happen to be someone who has been involved in a nonprofit and they are very, very philanthropic in the way that they think. Either way, in this day and age where there's information on everybody out there, you can pretty much figure out who it is you're going to see, or you are likely to see, or what kind of organization it is. And that will give you some insight to what they care about. Now, you want to think about, why would they care about your idea? What does it mean to them? Are you pitching an idea that might allow the organization to make more money? Are you pitching an idea that might help them to cut costs? Are you pitching an idea that might help them to retain their best talent? But why would your idea matter to them? And now you think to yourself, what parts of my idea might matter? I tend to like to think about things, or when I'm presenting an idea or pitching something, I like to speak with respect to 3s and 5s and 2s and 4s. Because if I say there are 3 reasons why you ought to care about this, now the listener is naturally thinking, what are the 3? And I make sure that I prioritize them. Or I might say there are 2. I tend not to go above 5 or 6 unless it's a different type of presentation. Like when I'm giving the pearls of intentional leadership, there are 8. So I tell you that there are 8, but I set you up to expect and to receive 8 things from me. But they need to be relevant. Otherwise, you start to lose people around 3 or 4. So now you have figured out who your audience is. You have figured out what they care about or what their demeanor is likely to be. Now you have figured out why they ought to care about what you're going to tell them. And then you organize it analytically, 2 things, 3 things, 5 things. The other thing is, you sometimes might use the tool of putting yourself in that person's seat. And I have found that to be effective in certain situations. If I'm you, the 3 things that I care about are A, B, and C. Now, sometimes I use that tool because I want the person or the audience to know that I've done the research on them or their organization, that I came in prepared because I know the organization. I also now know what their challenges are, and I've come to talk about how I might serve them in meeting some of those challenges. Now, once you've done that, you obviously want to leave room for somebody to ask you questions. And you want to have done enough research that you can pretty much answer all the questions. But if they ask you something that you don't know, don't run from it and don't not answer the question. Be direct. You want to say, that's a great question. I don't have a good answer for you right now. I'd like to say it might be A, B, or C, but give me some time. I'm going to research that and I'm going to come back to you. Now, that's also a great tool because it will give you the opportunity to demonstrate the follow-up and the follow-through. And as I always say, following up and following through is a way to differentiate yourself from anybody else because most people don't do it. And the faster that you follow up after that engagement where you've been pitching, the more impressive you're going to be. So pitching is really about making sure that you are to the point, you are succinct, you are serving the question or the challenge, and that you demonstrate that you understand your audience and that you're there to actually serve them. Now, I will tell you, at the end of the day, sometimes the pitch doesn't land. But if it doesn't land, you make sure that you follow up with a great thank you for listening, and then make your point in the follow-up. Go get them.